Hi YouTube, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. It's been a minute since I posted a video, so I thought I would talk about something that I've already kind of talked about before. So I'm going to be piggybacking off of my Are You a Placeholder in Your Boyfriend's Life? I was on Quora the other day. That's Quora.com. If you're not familiar with it, check it out and follow me. It's under my name, Lisa Marbly Warir, and I'll leave a link in the description box. And someone asked the question, what are red flag signs when you're in a relationship that eventually ended? And it's nothing to be ashamed of. We've all, I don't want to say all, but a lot of us as women willfully walked past glaring red flags. We were with a man that we knew just in our gut just was not the right man, but we pressed on. And I mean, unfortunately, that's what a lot of us do. Some of the red flags that I noted with a previous relationship, he was very secretive. He was extremely quiet. And, you know, of course, looking back now, I mean, it's okay to be quiet, but when you're with a man who just clams up and he doesn't want to divulge anything about himself, or I don't know, I can't really explain what I'm trying to say, but that could be a red flag, because if he's juggling you and another woman, then he wants to make sure that he doesn't, you know, mix up, you know, information. He might tell you something that he meant to tell the other woman, or vice versa. I don't know, but he was extremely quiet. For me, it was a red flag for me in that sense. You know, when a man tells you something like he's not really looking for a relationship, you know, things like that, believe him. What he really means is, I want to have fun with you, but I don't want to make it, but I don't want to, you know, make a future with you. And that's another red flag. If a man cannot speak about you in the future, you're not part of his future. As I also posted on Quora, and looking back, and in my defense, like I said, I wanted to break up with this guy a month into our relationship because something was just off. Ladies, when you're dealing with a man and something is just off, you can't, you know, pinpoint it. You need to maybe reevaluate while you're with him. A lot of women like to say things like, for example, if they, you know, get pregnant or something, he just switched up and all of a sudden, you know, he left me after the baby came and blah, blah, blah. He wasn't planning on staying with you. You know, as harsh as that is, he wasn't planning on staying with you. You know, men don't just up and change. So many women, they swear to God that that's what happened. That's not what happened. You weren't listening to the signs. You weren't paying attention to his actions and the words that he was telling you. And I'm guilty of it too. I dealt with this one particular man longer than I should have, because I let him sweet talk me back into his world, and I was like under constant just aggravation and hurt, and I mean, and from all intents and purposes, he was, you know, like the ideal boyfriend. He was charming, he was sweet, but he wasn't giving me his all. There was something pulling him away from him or me or whatever. Another red flag, when you are not his priority. When he has an excuse as to why he is not with you, trust and believe there is another woman that has his priority. If you're not that man's priority, another woman is. Don't come at us, don't come at me with well, he's at work, or he's this, or he's that. He might be at work. I'm not talking about the men who are genuinely working, who's genuinely busy. But even if he's like too busy for you, it's because he's with another woman, and we've all dealt with that wrong man. So there are a lot of red flags to pay attention to. As I stated before, if you don't have peace with a man, if you just feel deep down in your gut that something is not right, take heed to it. And I also want to say, one reason why we as women will hold on to a situation knowing that it's not good for us, our health wise, when you're dealing with the wrong man, that affects your health. It affects your self-esteem. It affects your mental health. It affects you. So sometimes it's best to just step back, be alone for a minute until you can invite the right man into your life. Because I'm telling you, when you're dealing with the right man versus the wrong man, it's night and day. The right man is going to make sure that you are happy, that he's going to bend over backwards to make sure that you are at peace and are happy. Trust and believe. The wrong man is not going to do that. He's going to have you on a roller coaster ride of emotions, driving you bonkers. And it's not worth it. So please take heed to the red flags, because they're there. They are there. Men tell us early on what they are about. We as women ignore it. And that's how you end up with so many women that's in a relationship that's going nowhere years later, because that man is always dangling that carrot. We're going to get married when? We're going to get married when this happens, when that happens. And that's how he keeps her, emotionally vested. That's how so many women look up and they have these children and the man is long gone because he offered her something that he knew he was not going to deliver. And she chose to stay for whatever reason. We can't keep, blaming men for everything. We can't, just keep calling them fuck boys and, bums and deadbeats and stuff like that. We have to be proactive in making sure that we are paying attention to the signals that these men give us. And they do give us these signals early on. Again, like I said, we don't always want to listen because we might be scared to be alone. We might want to save face. We presented ourselves as a happy couple, and all of a sudden there are cracks in the foundation, and you don't want to give up because then people are going to look at you like, whatever. If you're not married to the man and he's making you miserable, reevaluate while you're with him. If he still cannot give you what you want, let him go. Especially if you don't have years vested in him. A lot of women, I understand if you have some years vested in a man, you're living with him, you got his children. I don't know what to tell you, but if you just met a man and it's like weeks in, months in, there's nothing really holding you there, please evaluate while you're with him, because it's a good chance it's going to be a pattern that's going to keep on happening, keep going, and you're going to look up months later, years later, maybe with a child, and it's still the same thing. The right man does not do that to you. My husband is so different from that one man that I refuse to, talk about. But he was a lesson learned. As I said on Quora, I said, I spoke about the red flags that I dealt with, and I said, and I never repeated them. If I even had an inkling that a man was going to play with my emotions, I said, you know what? I'll be by myself. Let the right man come into your life. It makes a world of difference, but you have to do your part. Again, we can't just keep putting everything on men. We have to do our part. So many women, and I honestly think that some women subconsciously go after emotionally unavailable men, emotionally abusive men, the wrong men, because then she could step back and say, see, I told you all men are dogs, all men are this, all men are that, because she doesn't want to put the responsibility on herself. We have the responsibility to kick the wrong man to the curb. Kick him to the curb and don't look back. You ain't hurting him. You're not hurting him. But you'll be the one hurt in the long run. So check out my other videos. Subscribe. Make sure that I have a message that you want to hear and you agree with. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.